In a dusty town on the edge of the city lived a woman named Grace and her only daughter, Maya. Grace used to be beautiful once. People spoke about her glowing skin and soft smile. But life had worn her down. Years of poverty, heartbreak, and bad decisions had hardened her spirit. Still, one thing remained pure in her life: her daughter. Maya was only 16, but she carried herself with quiet dignity. She studied under candlelight when the electricity disappeared. She wore torn shoes without complaint. And every morning before school, she kissed her mother on the forehead and whispered, "One day I'll change our lives." Mom. Grace wanted to believe her, but hunger is a cruel thing. It changes people slowly. At first, Grace borrowed money from neighbors, then from loan sharks. Soon, collectors started banging on her door every night. "You have until Friday," they warned. Grace stopped sleeping. One afternoon, a black luxury car rolled into the neighborhood. Everyone stared. A wealthy businessman stepped out. His name was Mr. Jacobs. He was rich, respected, and old enough to be Grace's father. He entered Grace's tiny house and sat quietly, while she shook with nervousness. Then he placed an envelope on the table. Inside was more money than Grace had ever seen in her entire life. "I can solve your problems," he said calmly. "But I want your daughter." Grace froze. "What do you mean?" She whispered. "She will live in my mansion, attend the best schools, wear expensive clothes. You and your family will never suffer again." Grace's stomach twisted. "And what does she have to do?" The old man smiled slowly. "She will become my wife when she turns 18. Silence filled the room. Grace wanted to scream at him to leave, but then her eyes drifted to the empty cupboards, to the unpaid bills, to the eviction notice hanging near the door, to the memories of nights they slept hungry, and slowly her morals began to collapse. That night she stared at her sleeping daughter for hours. Maya looked peaceful, innocent, trusting. Grace cried silently, but by morning she had already made her choice. When Grace told Maya about the arrangement, the girl thought it was a joke. "Mom, I'm still a child." Grace avoided her eyes. "He's giving us a better life. But I don't love him. Love does not feed people." Maya stepped back as if slapped. For the first time in her life, she looked afraid of her own mother. Days later, they moved into Mr. Jacobs' mansion. Everything changed overnight. Designer clothes, private schools, luxury cars, servants, fine food. To outsiders, Maya looked like the luckiest girl alive, but behind the expensive walls, she was slowly dying. Mr. Jacobs controlled everything: what she wore, who she spoke to, where she went. He monitored her phone, read her messages, even timed her showers. If she laughed too loudly around young men, he became furious. "You belong to me," he would whisper coldly. Maya began losing weight. Her bright smile faded. At school, teachers noticed bruises hidden beneath makeup, but fear kept her silent. Meanwhile, Grace enjoyed the money. She opened a small beauty salon, bought expensive wigs, started acting superior to old neighbors. Whenever guilt tried to enter her heart, she silenced it with shopping bags and alcohol, until one rainy night changed everything. Maya came home trembling. "Mom," she whispered, "please help me." Grace looked irritated. "What now?" "I can't survive there anymore." Her daughter rolled up her sleeves. Dark bruises covered her arms. Grace's face turned pale. "He hurts me, Mom." The room became silent. Maya collapsed to her knees, sobbing. "You sold me." Those words pierced Grace like knives. But pride is dangerous. Instead of admitting the truth, Grace shouted, "Do you think poverty is better? Do you think suffering is easy?" Maya stared at her mother with broken eyes. "No," she whispered. "But at least poverty never touched me like this." Then she walked away. And for the first time in years, Grace felt shame, real shame. Weeks later, tragedy struck. Maya disappeared. Her phone went off. Nobody knew where she went. Mr. Jacobs became furious. Police searched everywhere. Days passed, then weeks, until finally a fisherman discovered a school bag near the river. Inside was Maya's diary. Grace's hands shook as police read the final pages aloud. "I feel invisible. Mom no longer sees me. Every day I pray to wake up from this nightmare. If I disappear, maybe everyone will finally understand that money is not love." Grace collapsed screaming. The entire town mourned, but people whispered. Behind her back, she traded her daughter for comfort. Grace never recovered from the guilt. Her salon closed. Mr. Jacobs vanished from the community after investigations began. And every evening, neighbors saw Grace sitting alone outside her tiny house holding Maya's old school shoes against her chest, crying, waiting for a daughter who would never return. Moral of the story: never sacrifice the people you love for money, comfort, or temporary success. Wealth without love, protection, and dignity can destroy lives forever. Sometimes the greatest poverty is losing your humanity. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more emotional and powerful